Hello and welcome to Let's Get Cooking.
Hi guys, how are we doing
Hi
tonight?
Chef, welcome. And what are we making tonight? Because I see plantains all over my kitchen. So what do we have?
Tonight we are doing a follower's request. So we're going to take an idea from a Brazilian steakhouse. We're going to present it to you without having to go outside and light up the rotisserie.
Right, because it's pretty hot out there.
You got a rotisserie? I don't have one.
I have one.
Well, lucky for you,
Okay.
but I don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to take that same traditional style, the flavor profile, and bring it in the comfort of your air conditioning.
Sounds good to me.
We're going to serve it with some plantains because if we're going to be doing some Brazilian stuff, this is kind of a dish that will go accompany well with it. It's very light due to the summer months, nice and hot. We don't want to swallow a bunch of pasta right now. So we're going to show you how to do it with some skirt steak and makes it quick and fast.
And one of our viewers requested a mocktail.
A mocktail, and we've actually had
no
a lot
alcohol
of
tonight.
we've had a lot of requests for some mocktails. Why? Is because most of the cocktails we do make, we can make an alternative.
Right.
So this is a good opportunity to show you that this mocktail can also be converted to a cocktail.
Right.
Right.
By
So
just changing wine.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know. Well, let's get started. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. Just kind of ran in from some showings, but let's take a look at this.
So first and foremost, all we got to do is get our mise en place ready, right? I have a skillet here. This is kind of a cast iron skillet. It's enamel, but basically it's cast iron. This has oil in it. This is going to be for our frying purposes.
How much oil is that?
I have about, if I had to guess, I have about 2 cups of oil in there.
Okay.
So all I have is enough to where our plantains are going to be, they won't submerge because they're going to float as we're frying them. So we will need to flip them.
Okay.
But basically you want enough to where 3/4 of the slice or the thickness of our slice is covered by the oil that we're using.
Perfect.
Okay. So it is a deep fry application.
Wonderful.
And then our handy dandy cast iron skillet, because this thing retains heat, it cooks, it sears, and it does exactly what we need it to do quick and fast. So that's the beauty of that. We have our oven on here. Only because of our process, we have to sear and then finish in the oven, and we always do much more than you guys do. If you can go ahead and serve straight from the pan, by all means, go ahead and do so. We could cut our skirt steaks to be small enough portions to where you could finish everything right here.
Okay.
Okay? You don't have to go out and rotisserie. I love the rotisserie while I'm hanging out at the pool. I don't have one, so I just have to think about it. Anyhow, so what we got going, we have our plantains. If those who don't know what a plantain is, it's not a banana. It's exactly the same, but totally different. Okay? So what this is this is a less sweet, same type of texture and mouthfeel. It's a lot firmer than a banana.
Okay.
Okay.
And we did find out that they're hard to find.
They are hard to find.
So maybe call ahead. How do you figure that out? Because we had to run all over town for this. And we have a question.
What do we do if we don't have an iron skillet?
You don't need an iron skillet. You can use any saute pan. Any frying pan will work just fine. The reason we use the iron skillet is because we can get it super hot so we can sear, right? That's the biggest key. And as we've learned over our classes is that the sear is the most important piece to seal in the juices. But any frying pan will work. If this is what you had, you could use this as well. If you had a flat one, you can use that as well. So basically anything that will be able to create high heat, quick and fast, that's what you're wanting to use.
Perfect.
Cool. So where do you find plantains?
I know.
In your local produce?
Right.
Sometimes. So I
maybe
heard
Hispanic store,
Food
Mexican
City.
store?
Yeah, if you go to Food City, you'll be able to find plantains.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Levy
Like a
Market.
sprout?
Sprouts may have them.
Okay.
Again, I would call. So just find out, hey, do you guys have plantains? As we found out, they don't carry plantains like they carry bananas, right? Because it's a less desirable produce that
Probably goes
we're
back.
typically not eating, right? And when you're looking for a plantain, you want to try to find green ones for this type of application. stage.
Okay,
If they're starting to turn yellow, just like a regular banana, they're softer, they don't fry as well.
okay, good.
So
to
we
know.
want them to be firmer so that way they fry, because it's basically gonna make like a chip. We're gonna cut them
Right.
thick enough to where it has a good texture, a density to when you eat it, so it's not just gonna turn to mush as it fries. Okay,
I'm excited to see that.
we got a bowl full of fresh herbs and citrus and chilies. We got some mint, we got some shallot, lime, cilantro, some Fresno chilies, fresh oregano. This is gonna be for our chimichurri.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah. And then, so our skirt steak, so what I got going is, if you have a Ziploc bag, gallon bag usually works really, really good. We got a question. Yes, question.
Are you already heating up your pan for the steaks and does it need to have oil in it?
I have not heated anything just yet. First and foremost, we want to make our marinade for our steaks, okay? So to seal in the juices in a marinade, you want to put it in something that you can release oxygen. So a Ziploc bag is always good because you can take out as much oxygen as you possibly can and seal it up. What happens is then the juices are able to penetrate the tissue of the protein fast.
Okay,
Okay, so you're talking marinade doesn't have to be 12 hours, 24 hours, especially for using citrus, it can be 10, 12, 15 minutes. 20 minutes and you're good to go.
okay.
You'll be able to capture all that flavor. We don't have that, but that's okay. So what I did was I have all of our ingredients for our marinade: lime juice, orange juice, fresh oregano, some garlic in there. And this citrus marinade is gonna really be, it's gonna brighten up the flavor of the beef.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what we want to do is take our flank steaks. So we're gonna want to see how this becomes one big.
Yeah, it looks
skirt,
like it's all,
okay?
yeah. attached.
So what we want to do with this, guys, we're gonna want to break it down. Why? It's because we gotta see how it's gonna fit in our pan, right?
Right,
So if we go ahead and break it down to where it'll fit in our pan. So you see that I'm cutting in little steaks that'll easily fry up or sear in our skillet that we're looking to do.
right, much tougher to see it, to sear that large of, any large piece like that,
You don't have a pan big enough, right?
right?
Your grill might work, but again, at the end of the day, do we want to stand out and grill or do we want to be nice and cool?
Absolutely.
If you're hanging out at the pool, you probably get away with it. So what I'm gonna do is lay those down nice and flat. And I'm gonna take our marinade that we made. I'm gonna dump this on. We wanna make sure that it is coating it evenly. So if you're gonna use a vessel like this, something that's not gonna be able to seal in, remember we laid it down into the pan. If we just lift up each
Mhm.
piece
Real
and
underneath that.
allow the marinade to flow underneath it, which will then create a marinade on both sides, right?
Got
So it's gonna be able to penetrate the meat as much as possible. So by pressing it down like this, we are releasing any of that oxygen. We're allowing the beef to be submerged into our marinade, right?
Got it.
So that's gonna be okay.
That looks great, smells good, like that citrus
Nice
really
and
smells
fresh,
great,
yeah, nice and
absolutely.
So then we're gonna wanna do our
Chimichurri?
chimichurri, that's right.
We have a question.
Can you repeat what ingredients go into the marinade, please?
It's going to be orange juice, orange zest, lime zest, garlic, some fresh oregano. And all we did was just zest first and then juice. Because if you juice and then you zest, it's going to be a lot harder. All right, we want to take the zest off and then
Right.
we can squeeze it. It makes it easier. Okay, so for our chimichurri, we're gonna need a bowl. We're gonna use some chilies. For these guys, I'm gonna go ahead and break them down. So I'm just gonna open it up. I'm gonna take the seeds out of here. Try not to use your fingers for the process. When you do use your fingers, wash them right when you're done.
Don't touch your face.
Trust me, you don't want this in your eyeball. So we are gonna cut these in a julienne, and we're gonna julienne them pretty small. That's what we're looking for. I'm gonna do the other chili too.
Nice and spicy.
These ones aren't gonna be too spicy. I mean, you'll be able to tell, just give a little sample to it. So it's gonna have a kick, but it's not gonna be
I
like,
feel like it has a kick.
Huh?
I feel like it has a kick. Okay.
too much.
It has enough where I just don't want to eat it.
There you go.
Because I still have the kick in there.
And when you're working with chilies like this, you gotta remember.
I mean, I love
You never-
spicy.
You never know how it's gonna go, right?
Right, because they don't look as potent as some of the others, but that definitely had a kick to it.
But even just, you don't know, you don't know. You don't know whether they're gonna be super hot. I call them angry. So if they're angry,
It's definitely.
they're gonna put
Oh,
some
we have
kick to
another
it.
question. I love all these questions.
Does the skirt steak come from the bottom of the beef belly?
So where this, yeah, that's where the skirt steak is gonna come from. I'm trying to think. Would be more so. I'm trying to think of what the cut is that's right above it. No,
I just recently saw like a map of how they showed all the pieces. I'm trying to think of where is that skirt steak?
even when they show, so the skirt steak is actually like a byproduct,
Oh, okay.
which means that they're not cutting beef to get this. This is a piece of muscle tissue
That's
that we
leftover.
can use, right? The good part about this is there's a lot of fat.
Is that
it's-
the good part?
It's fatty, but it's marbling also. So the fat is in the muscle tissue. Also, the caps that are on the outside, they peel off pretty easy. So if you're looking for something more lean, you can take these right off without having too much of an issue.
That is always the challenge, right? Is having it get more lean, less fat. I'm always looking for something with a little less fat on it.
Well, on it, right? What you're looking for is the marbling, the fat within the tissue. That's
Exactly.
what you're looking for steak wise. This one right here.
Right, it adds flavor, which I can appreciate.
It does, but this one is a piece that you see. Like it's more typically grilled. But since there's a lot of marbling fat inside, then it helps keep that muscle tissue tender.
Right.
So we're gonna do some zest of lime. Trying to rotate after every stroke that you do so that way we're not getting any of the pith, none of the white. You want to keep that out. We're just getting the outside zest. Forget all that love there.
Not at all.
So for this one, we are going to want to take off most of the leaves from the stems. As long as we're taking off the big. So this is our cilantro. If we're going to go ahead, we want to remove pretty much most of just the leaves. You don't have to worry about too much of it, but we want to definitely get out these big pieces. We don't want these big old stems into our chimichurri.
Right.
So the beauty about chimichurri is you can make it in advance.
Right.
So if you let it set for 2 days, 24 hours or 48 hours, it's only going to infuse the flavor and turn out much better
Right.
for when you're going to go and do that. What happens is you allow all these ingredients to mend together to create such a powerful product or sauce. To
It's
go-
so good on everything. I mean, just a good chimichurri is great to keep in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a salsa.
It
technically,
is,
right?
it really is. It's amazing.
I mean, if you had a food processor, you could just blast all this in. I would just pull like that and take all those stems off, but since we're gonna hand chop, I'm gonna wanna take as much of the stem out as possible. So one of the things I learned about making chimichurri is if you're gonna use a food processor, you wanna blend all your ingredients and take it out and then just add your oil in a bowl like this. You don't wanna blend it all together with your oil. So what happens is the molecular structure of the oil kind of masks. So what happens in the blending process is it masks the fresh ingredients of these. So if you get all your ingredients, you can blend it up and then you add your oil to it. So that was an interesting
That is
tidbit to
interesting.
learn, yeah.
That there are ways to do it differently that could yield a different result with the molecular structure.
Yeah, and it just changes the flavor profile, which is crazy because you
Mhm.
wouldn't think
You wouldn't think.
that it does, but since basically when you put it in the blender, you're heating it up, and that's why it changes.
Makes sense. Sometimes you just don't think about that.
Right.
Differential in cooking.
The science behind it,
Mhm.
right? Luckily in cooking, there's not too much science. Baking, that's different stuff. So now we got this stuff going. And I'm just gonna add all of our herbs together. So we got our fresh mint. We're gonna add some of this. This is gonna add a nice vibrant flavor to it as well.
Right. It's always it smells so great.
And it's powerful, so remember, you don't have to go crazy with it to get that flavor, but it just adds to the freshness flavor profile. Let's do one more. All right, we'll get some fresh oregano. You definitely don't want the stems of this in there.
Definitely not.
Pretty fibrous. So this one we want to break down as best as we possibly can.
And it always seems like this part is kind of tedious, but the flavor change by having fresh is so much better.
The end result,
so much
right?
worth
So
it.
you've
much.
seen those little tubes in the grocery store that have like fresh basil or
It's
oregano,
not the same.
thyme, ginger. It is definitely not the same than doing it just like this.
Right.
And
Even the garlic, even
100
in
in the oil?
Yes,
Oh yeah, it tastes totally different.
totally different.
Another one too is I mean, all this stuff, it grows so well, right? Obviously, when it gets hot, you keep it in the shade, you should be okay. So all I'm doing is I'm bunching it up, trying to get it as bunched together as possible so I can chop it as fine as I possibly can.
What would the result of the competition?
So, for the favorite chef of 2025, I finished 5th in the quarter round of my group. So there was 1,553 groups of 20 or more chefs to start. The quarter round, they eliminated everyone but the first place in each round. So 1,553 people then got grouped into another group for the competition. It was basically a fundraiser for the James Beard Foundation, which is a cool thing. For those who were excited to see what the outcomes would be, it's kind of a buzzkill to find out that all your food goes home. Not a big deal, but
Who makes the decision then?
it's who raises the most money for the James
Oh.
Beard Foundation. That's how you advance. And I raised probably right around $1,400 for the foundation. So again,
Which is great.
did a great thing,
Mhm.
and the foundation goes for education of culinaries. So we're continuing to advance the culinary career for individuals that want to be chefs, right?
That's
So
awesome.
not just learning how to cook at your local Denny's or Applebee's. I mean, sometimes you might only be as good as an Applebee's chef, but if you're aspiring to learn and to help grow the culinary field, because as you've seen, foodies is a thing, right?
It is a thing.
And you see how the restaurants are changing and they're adapting and they're really becoming more versatile to ingredients that you're typically not used to seeing, right?
Absolutely.
So you're always trying to find a restaurant that's taking it to the next level. So it's very interesting. I thought it was fun, so I was excited about it. Do it again next year. I'll have a different approach about fundraising, so keep your eyes and ears
Well,
open.
it's just all over a good cause and you got to have some fun with it.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it's all
Love
about,
it.
right? So we got our garlic, juice now.
And you said chimichurri can last in the refrigerator if you just put a cover on it for
7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days?
Yeah.
Good to know.
They say 6 days is what they say. Since we're adding the acid, you're gonna get a few more days. As long as it's refrigerated and is not allowing a lot of oxygen in there, it's gonna last longer. You'll get 10 days out of it without having to worry about it, yeah, at all. And we're gonna put some shallot into here. So fascinating to see how much shallots we use now in the show.
We use them, and we use them a lot just to cook at home.
It's and I mean,
So it's one thing that
it's a
we've always
flavor
had.
profile that really does a lot,
It
right?
does a lot.
Yeah, so that's the beauty. Of
I
it.
mean, we rarely even ever cook
Without it,
with a regular onion
yeah.
in with all of you. I mean, I feel like we have it really, not very often.
So yeah, only if that's really what we're trying to achieve. But most of the time we're using the shallot because it has a better flavor profile.
Absolutely.
How's everyone doing at home? Everyone following along?
Chopping away?
Lost, no fingertips are lost, right? Got any questions so far?
Alice says that your results are great. Very proud of you.
Thank you. Just got a new knife the other day. That's sharper than sharp. What does that mean?
Watch those fingers.
You don't want to know. That thing will get you quick and fast.
I love that we're making something that all of you wanted to see, so that's fun tonight, that we're doing something that you've requested.
Well, again, submit your requests. We look at them, we take them serious. We want to see, actually the last set of requests that were sent in, we've actually already made quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to want to duplicate, right? We have all of our sessions recorded.
We do.
So you would be able to go and find the beef stroganoff
Mhm.
or the feta, the creamy feta salmon. That was a huge
That was huge.
fan.
That's
fan.
Yep. And then we have actually, I think,
Can you hear
one
me?
other time with the
What?
plantains.
Okay, what knife
At
are
least
you
once.
using?
We did something similar.
I think we did when we did the Argentinian steak
Yeah,
skewers.
yeah,
So
there
a
you go.
similar concept,
Right, similar
but a
style.
little different, right? We're gonna need vinegar and oil.
Are you guys all keeping up? I know there's a lot of chopping. This one has just a lot of concentrated chopping to get this going.
Why your little.
Yeah, it
That's
works
your
great.
best friend. So this is red wine vinegar. We're gonna add that.
What was it?
Red wine vinegar. Trying to see who else is on.
Our
Nobody
neighbors,
else we know.
well, all the people
I don't
that
know if we wanna use.
aren't identified.
Avocado.
Yeah. We need fairly a lot.
So the difference, you're selecting an avocado oil versus the virgin oil.
Correct. This is gonna be more pungent.
Okay,
It's gonna overpower the ingredients. This is gonna be lighter to taste,
okay.
so that way you'll be able to taste those ingredients of the chimichurri better.
Wonderful.
So good for saute, good for certain salad dressings, depending on what you're doing. Pretty good for marinades. But again, what are we trying to achieve?
Right.
This is a pungent flavor and it can mask all the freshness. Of it, so,
Which is always good. And we just really, I think Steve learned a lot on the show too by buying more avocado oil versus just regular olive oil.
yeah, because there's a different application,
Right.
right? So same thing with coconut oil. If that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing.
Right, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what.
And you don't always think about that, because I mean, you look down the oil aisle and there's so many choices.
It
hard
goes,
to know.
it goes on and on. and on.
You know, hard to know, like, why do I need 10 different kinds?
Right, and that's a big piece to it. So we're gonna add some of our blood orange juice.
That's interesting too. I know Steve makes chimichurri, but we don't have the blood orange juice in there, so.
It's gonna be that nice light little brightness to it, okay? A different flavor profile.
Yeah, very different.
So we need juice and orange here. Let me give that a stir back, go ahead. We're gonna add just a little salt to that. Help those flavors get incorporated together.
Salt's the other one, but I feel like there's so many types. Himalayan, pink salt, sea salt, coarse salt.
Kosher
Regular
salt,
salt.
yeah, try not to use iodized table salt by all means necessary.
Don't use it.
Try not to.
You
yes.
use it in cleaning products and things. But
You
other
have to
than
put it on your table in your shaker.
yes. But
Don't
that's
use it for that. Get a twist one where you can crack it. Because again, the pink Himalayan salt is so much better for the system. Celtic salt's another one that I've been doing some research on how good it is for the body.
Really?
Yeah, because it helps retain water molecules in the
Oh,
body.
yeah.
Again, oxygen and hydrogen, so it helps your body stay hydrated throughout the day.
So if I wanted to have one that I typically use, just the salt grinder with the pink salt in it, like.
Works,
Himalayan,
yep, works
Okay.
really good.
Good to know,
And the
everybody.
fresh ground salts are the better ones, because then you're taking those crystals and you can kind of control how big or how small you want
Right.
those, right? Some are ground really fine and you get too salty too quickly,
Got
right?
it.
So you gotta be careful. So we're gonna let our chimichurri just hang out. We'll put it in the fridge. Then we're gonna get our. For us, we should probably, let's get our oil going. And I'm gonna get a sheet pan just so we can sear and finish our steak.
I'll grab
in
a
the
sheet
oven.
pan.
Okay. So we're gonna get our oil for our plantains rolling. I got a sheet pan coming up so that way we can put our steaks.
Oh, this side?
Yeah, we'll put our, cause we got more, so we wanna sear, we don't wanna overcrowd our pan.
Yep.
If you wanna throw like foil on there, it'll work perfectly. Right now would be a good time to go ahead and demonstrate our mocktail.
You need to open this. It's all like. me and
Fidgeting.
I- Yeah, there's. Whatever it is, but this. Yeah, it's like hard to get up. It's, you got it.
A nice rosé. With the nice glass cork, fancy. Alright, we're gonna need some blood orange juice. And lime juice. Let's see for this guy.
Blood orange, lime, you have both, you for your fresh lime. Looks like we still have some trilogy people joining us, which I love to see. I think Roger and Sue are on tonight. Thanks for joining. I hope you guys enjoy dinner. And I know it's hot out in trilogy right now, and most people that can escape for the summer have. So thanks for joining us and sticking with us. Tom, I think you're on tonight too. Really, thank you for joining.
So we
And
got
I
our,
love seeing some of our regulars back on tonight.
we got our blood orange in there. You have a nice fresh lime squeeze.
Really a nice refreshing drink for summer.
Yeah, I think. We have our NA rosé. Mint leaf in there.
We always have to make it look pretty.
And that's just your garnish, because if you twist it in there, you have a nice.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that is refreshing. Very refreshing. What do you guys think?
Light little orange in there, voila. You taste the citrus.
Yeah,
It's almost like a grapefruit, but not as much.
yeah, really good. Excellent. All right, looks like our pan is heating up.
So we're looking for a good ripple in there. While that's going, we're gonna wanna get a plate or something. Set up with some paper towel in it. We're gonna wanna be able to capture the residual oil from when it comes out. We got some tongs. We might wanna get ourselves a spatula, in case it's easier to flip.
Okay.
So we set that ready to go. Let's heat this guy up as well, because we can do this at the same time. Clear out the cutting board there. And for the plantains, we're always trying to find what we want to do, right? So I typically,
How we want to cut it.
yep, I typically cut it off and just open it up. So like you said, it is more firm,
But you can tell.
but we want it that way, so that way it holds up in the frying process. And that's a big ticket to it.
It's funny because even in a restaurant, you very rarely see like, they'll usually do like a fried plantain on a menu, but it's just not very often.
No. It's just a less desired thing,
Right.
unless that's where you're from
Right.
and you're used to having it as a side dish, so
Makes it kind of fun to make something that you normally wouldn't eat.
that's the way to do it, right?
I know.
All I'm doing is just making sure we get all that skin off. Oil's looking good, our pan's getting
Yeah.
hot over there.
Coming together.
Perfect.
Do you believe how close we're getting to 4th of July? I can't believe it's in like a week.
Christmas was last week.
I know, I'm telling you, it's already the end of June. I don't know where the time goes. But while you're doing that, a quick little market update just to talk about what is happening out there. We're seeing homes continue to sit on the market. 90 days is pretty typical of what we're seeing right now. And it is summer. So all of our winter visitors, anyone that can escape the heat and out of the heat, people that are moving, if they have children in schools, they are making their process selections now because they're gonna take some time off in July because our schools start in August here. So it is gonna settle down just a little bit. Things are gonna be a little more quiet, but everyone who's out looking is actually super motivated. That's why the summer is great, because any traffic that you do see, you know they're motivated to get out there. They're not just looking around because it's hot. So it is still a great time to sell. We are also in some of our active adult communities, Trilogy specifically, and some of the other neighborhoods. If you're thinking about selling in the fall, talk to us. We're meeting with a lot of clients right now so that we're preparing for that fall listing. And, you know, I think the market's going to be better then. We're going to see some uptick, a little bit of a lower interest rate as well, potentially then. So get your house ready now. It might take you 30, 60 days to get things ready so that you're ready to go in the fall. We've even in some occasions taken pictures early so that we're ready to go just as soon as the market changes. And then we can kind of watch it as things go on. Towards the end of the year, like in November, December is typically our ramp up to that snowbird season. And January kind of kicks in for that. So do you need help sprucing up your property? making some changes either to landscape, inside the property, want some paint selection choices, make sure you reach out to us and talk to us. I'm happy to help you. Just even rearrange furniture to give it a new refresh. We're happy to do that with you at any time. And all the home builders, we're seeing lots of great incentives. I was talking to my team earlier this week and just across the board, the home builders are motivated because their year end is December. So they want to sell homes today so they can close it by the end of the year. So it's also a great time to buy when there's less buyers out there and less competition. So give us a call, whether it's sprucing up your current home or you want a copy of our maintenance list. Let us know. We're happy to help you guys out. And let's see how we're doing on these plantains, cutting these at a diagonal. They're almost like a chip, like a.
It's
a chip.
firm, it's really
Yeah.
firm, so it looks like a banana and resembles a banana,
Mhm.
but it's very, very firm.
Yeah, I love that.
So we have our skillet going, it's nice
Okay.
and hot.
Did you put oil in there?
I put some oil in there.
Okay.
I waited for it to get nice and hot so we can get some good caramelization on it. You can see how we got
Right, that
a
was
good, a
good.
good sear. And I'm not overcrowding the pan, that's the big ticket for it, right? So we'll let these guys do their thing for a second, we'll get our next batch rolling. We'll take a look at our oil. I'm gonna turn this down just slightly, because I can see it starting to smoke a bit. So we wanna turn that down a little bit. So when we're doing our plantains, we wanna see how we're doing, right? So if we were to do this, we'd be frying a lot of plantains.
Yeah,
If we cut on the bias, or I'll cut, I usually go this way. So that way we can create a bigger chip, so to speak.
I'd have to say they actually look better too, just from a presentation standpoint,
Absolutely.
it looks better.
100%.
Mary Ann says that it looks fabulous.
So you want to be careful. Because these guys contains liquid, right? When we drop that steak into that pan, be careful because all that liquid and that oil do not combine. They're gonna want to splash up and fry. So I want to try and separate these. Just so they can continue to fry. So as the starch is releasing, they're wanting to stick together. So we want to keep them separate. Good. We're gonna transfer these to our sheet pan.
How many minutes aside?
I would say for these right here, let's do like a good 2 minutes.
Okay,
Yep, it's a nice solid time frame for that. So as you see, these are at a deep fry, meaning that they are pretty much completely submerged. But we are gonna want to flip them over once so we can get this top side done as well. You can see they're already starting to create that color. How's everyone doing at home? Got any questions?
those look good, but it's really hard to tell that they were really cooked on here. I mean, they're similar color.
Right,
just
they
feel
are.
were super dark. Yeah,
And they're not ready yet, so
Okay.
we'll see.
If
Because
they
they're
do.
continuing to
Got
cook.
it.
Yep. So by letting the pan heat back up, we can then go ahead and create another sear, right?
so having a time,
Let
a
it-
break in between
Yep.
was good.
They went in plain and we'll season them when they come out. Because when they come out, we're gonna allow our seasoned blend, so all that dry spice, we're gonna mix that together, the brown sugar, the paprika, the cumin, the allspice, the salt. What was the other one? The clove.
And the clothes.
Yep, and the clove. What we're gonna, you don't wanna season before because it's just gonna fry off.
Right.
So like French fries, you don't salt them before you throw them in the oil. You season them when they come out. So we're gonna pull them out and then we'll lightly season them and then they'll be good
Do
to
you want
go.
these to go in the oven yet?
Not yet, we'll do them all at the same time, yeah? That'll make that easy. Cause these guys are gonna be fast. They'll take maybe like 4 or 5 minutes,
That's it, yeah.
especially as fast as we're searing right now.
So really, the most time consuming part of the dinner is making the chimichurri.
Absolutely.
So you can actually make that a couple days in advance,
And
and
then
then
this
this is
comes together quickly.
quick.
The bananas, the plantains, the tostinos, you can cut those up in advance also, because they don't oxidize like the banana.
Oh, that's.
So
actually
you
good
can
to know.
throw them into a Ziploc bag, wrap it up. Throw
So the
it in.
night before you get pre-prep, this dinner is a snap after you get home from work.
Absolutely. And if you're marinating for 24 hours,
All that's ready.
what
to
a
go.
world of difference, right? So all I'm doing is testing to see how soft they are. So we're getting there.
So is they, you want them to be a little soft inside?
Yep, well, they'll soften up, so you want them to soften up. So they're crisp on the outside, the crunch, but they're soft when you bite it. Because as you see how firm this is when you squeeze it,
Oh, yeah.
so we're
Oh, that's
softening it by that right
Got
there,
it.
yeah.
What's the plantain, I mean, do you ever eat it raw?
You can, don't recommend it, and they typically don't, is because how
They're firm.
firm it is, yeah.
Okay.
That's why they season them in prime.
Is that the best application for them, is frying,
Yeah.
not baking?
You can bake them, so if you want a healthier option.
Right.
Air
Air fryer?
fryer, absolutely.
Okay, that was my
Air
next question.
fryer, air.
So like,
fryer
it's
would be a good one.
normally something that you're actually going to fry, which air fryer would be the healthier solution.
So if we look at the plantains here, Beth, like we were saying, see how
Oh, yeah,
tender now that is
Right.
compared to the firmness of when you squeezed it. So
absolutely.
by letting them do their thing in here is what we're looking for.
Beth, can you use the chimichurri on chicken or seafood and continue with the same technique of searing?
Yes, you can. Chicken, beef, seafood. Seafood, I would do it straight. I don't know, it depends on how thick a piece of fish you got. I would do it, finish it all just straight in the pan.
How about pork? I think
Pork?
pork would be really good with that.
Pork, you can do it as well. Lamb, I mean, essentially it's the same, so. Lamb's gonna be a lot more gamey, right? So it's gonna have its own little flavor to it. You wouldn't typically use as much citrus with lamb.
Right.
You're gonna do more savory.
It's gonna be a different marinade,
Yeah.
in other words.
If you grab one of those white bowls, one of the white bowls down there. It's like
What
a
are these
small.
plastic? Oh.
So if we take our. Tostino,
Oh, that's a good way to mix it up.
and you wanna do them. Try and do them right when they come out essentially, right?
Kind of like a french fry. I mean, that
Just-
was a good analogy
just-
because they still have a little moisture to them.
Just like a French fry. So you can sprinkle them on, but as you saw, as I tossed it in there, we got a good even coat going on.
Right. Absolutely.
So this guy's on ready to go in the oven. We got these guys rolling and doing their thing. I'll do one more.
Looks like, I mean, they look delicious. Kind of a fun treat to have something so different than we normally would make.
Well, and like if you walk by it at the store, it's like, what in the world is that thing, right?
Yeah, or I don't want to attempt it. It looks like too much work.
Or when you look in a recipe book,
Right.
right? I don't wanna do it.
And usually I kind of steer away from frying, so I like the idea of of using the air fryer.
And also,
Easier,
If-
you're cleaner,
if you're gonna use the air fryer, what I would do is I would toss that in a little bit of oil and then season and air fry. Because the
Oh.
liquid from the frying takes off the seasoning, as opposed to the air fryer's gonna bake it
break
on.
it in. Oh, that's a
Exactly.
that's a great tip to use with the air fryer.
I'll give it 5 minutes, which will probably be pretty accurate. We got any questions out there? How's everyone doing at home?
They're all frying.
They're all fine. And frying, you're gonna wanna pay attention to this.
Absolutely. That seems to actually be the longest part of the process, is the plantains, right?
Yeah, and then again, they cook pretty quickly, as you see, and it all depends on the firmness, right?
Right.
So,
And how thick you cut them.
and how thick you cut them. For what we're doing, I mean, that's like a good sized chip right there.
It is,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's what you're looking for. You're talking 1/2 inch thick. And you just keep press, so as you can see, still firm,
Absolutely.
right? So as you'll notice when they'll get more, as soon as you can fork tender, right? Then that's when you know that you're ready to go. How is everyone doing at home? You got any questions?
Anybody done yet?
Yeah,
Are
anyone
you guys,
finished?
have anyone finished this? Have a plate that you want to share with us? We'd love to see it.
Yeah, always send us your plate presentations. Send us your recommendations. We're building next season's recipes already, so.
And send some photos when you have your friends over and you guys are cooking together. We love to see that. So we can post it on social media. Weird.
Chef Marianne says, I have yellow and ripe plantains. Is one better than the other?
So if it's yellow, it's gonna be more ripe, less frying time, because it's gonna get mushier faster. So if you have a more yellow plantain, I would keep the heat on a little bit higher so it'll crisp faster and the cooking process doesn't have to prolong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if we let them sit in that oil at a lower temperature, it's just gonna absorb the oil and not crisp the outside like you want it to.
Right.
So you're talking like a 350, 375. If it's more ripe, you can get up to 400 degrees to where it's in, flip, and they should be ready to roll. So we'll see the tenderness here. These are getting there. Let's do another flip on these guys. And if you wanna know how can you touch that at that oil heat, it's for doing it for 2 decades. That's,
Don't do that at home.
don't try that at home. Use your tongs, it's okay.
Do we play one up?
We'll be ready as soon as our steak's almost
Almost
done.
ready?
Yeah, that should be coming out in just a second. While these guys are finishing up.
Wendy says these classes are great. Thank you for sharing your time and knowledge with us.
Thank you for joining us.
Right, we love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We're always looking to, like, we've been saying over the last couple classes now, we're always looking for something that you don't typically cook with.
Right.
We're always trying to find a recipe or an idea that we can take and show you how to make it in your house. You go to a restaurant, I have this amazing pork belly. Can we do that? We can. It's a little bit longer of a class, but these are things that we want to show you. I want to teach you how to be comfortable cooking in your kitchen and not to be intimidated by those recipes in a book, in a magazine, on Pinterest that you see and go, oh no, I don't want to do it. Right?
Exactly.
So
Or it's like really long ingredients list.
we don't want to throw, and we've had some where the ingredients list is really long,
Right,
but the execution is actually pretty simple.
right.
So those are those things that we want to show you. Again, it's so versatile. If you don't like it, don't put it in there.
Right.
And that's.
Which I love. That's our 5 minutes.
Yeah. This guy's gonna need, I'm gonna go back. So those guys are gonna need just a couple more minutes, which is fine. We'll be able to plate that guy. I'm gonna give these one last flip really quick before I get them into our season bowl. Let's pull these guys out. And then all we're gonna do is just drop them on. To capture that excess oil. Then we'll put them in our season bowl, give them a toss.
Anybody, how are you guys doing out there? Any questions on this process? You can see that all of these ingredients stick to the plantains once you put them out there and drain off that excess fat. They look perfect as they're cooling.
Bowl like this, actually.
Yeah, those are kind of fun.
So we allow our steak to rest just a little bit.
Always cooking with the grain,
When you're cutting, you wanna cut,
what do you mean?
Uh,
Excuse me.
cut against
Against
the
the grain,
grain. yeah.
against it, okay.
So you see, we got a good medium temperature here.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll pull those other guys out also. We'll let those rest up also. Yeah, you want to do a good mix. Strain off some of that oil. Just want to go ahead. Top it like that.
Wow, look at those colors together too. That looks so amazing. Don't forget to show us all your plates out there when you guys are done. We'd love to see it. Ooh, beautiful.
Garnish is always important.
Well, lovely. They're drinking up there too.
And there we have
Oh,
our
amazing.
skirt summer steak with a blood orange chimichurri and some Caribbean fried plantains
Wonderful.
with our nice mocktail.
Looks amazing. Do I hear blackberries in our next?
So
Class?
next month, we're gonna go outside the box a little
Okay.
further. We're gonna do a blackberry hoisin pork tenderloin with a Japanese potato cake. It's a Chinese potato cake, but I put a little Japanese spin to it just because of the
Interesting.
ingredients profile that we're gonna do to it, so.
I love cooking with blackberry. I think it's great to have that freshness with of the berries with the
The
pork.
tartness, the tartness and the hoist, the savory, the hoisin, they blend so well together. It's unbelievable. How good it is.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So that's next month. So we're excited to see all of you. Please don't hesitate to send in your photos. We'd love to add those to our social media. And we're gonna see you all next month on Let's Get Cooking.
That's right. Thank you.
Have a great
everyone.
evening.
Have a good
Enjoy.
night.